Welcome back to the grind for one of my favorite fights of the Abyss, I think, ever so far. Now, Bishop himself is a very annoying champion to fight, and if you don't have the right counters, he can be a huge pain to deal with. And in my mutant run, I believe I just got through it with Cable without too many issues. I think it was 3 or 4 revives. But the thing with Bishop is his special attacks, the special one, you're going to take block damage. This is not the new Bishop, it's the old Bishop, but he's still a huge pain in the butt. He can regen lots, he can, do passive damage to you, and you can cheese this fight if you can prevent him from throwing special attacks and also do energy damage, because energy attacks are going to give him prowess, and if he uses a special attack, he'll get rid of the prowess to do negative effects to you or beneficial effects to him. But if you can add those prowess effects or power effects, whatever they're called, and prevent him from throwing a special to get rid of them, eventually, I think it's at 30 stacks, he's going to start doing a lot of damage to himself. And so Dr. Doom is a fantastic counter for this fight, but this is my Carina's Challengers guide for my Carina's Challenger playlist, taking path 3. And Warlock was the best champion I could have brought in for this fight. I was quite worried about how I would get through this fight. It might have been a ton of revives, but Warlock is a perfect answer. And the trick is to build up your infections to at least 1, but ideally 2, before you push him over a bar of power and throw your special 1. It doesn't really matter how much power he has, but you just want to prevent him from throwing a special attack. And having 2 infections is going to mean you're going to drain more power from him, and then you can just do lots of parries, reparries, do medium attacks to, get your power up to 1 bar, and then you're going to throw the special 1 with 1 or 2 infections, and it's going to drain him down below a bar of power, and you're going to start working your way back up to a bar of power just like this. Every time you throw a special 1, you're going to hit him with 3 energy attacks, and that's going to start stacking up those energy charges on Bishop. And if you can have, like I said, 2 infections every time, you're never going to have to worry about him throwing a special attack. And as you can see, a lot of times I only have 1 infection on him, and that's because I had one really good setup with 2 infections, and it allowed me to kind of get ahead of him on power, and it made it very easy to stay ahead of him even with just 1 infection. So here I think I'm going to try to build up to 2 again, but I might actually just end up being close to 2 bars of power. I can't remember on this one here, so we'll see what happens. Where they're throwing the special 1, he didn't even have a bar of power, but I had close to my next bar of power, so we're just throwing it off, and now again we have a bar of power and 1 infection, so we don't have to go to 2 infections. He doesn't even have a bar of power yet, so this was helping me stay ahead of him on power and always being at my next infection or very close to my next infection. So we're at 20 energy charges on Bishop at this point. We haven't done a ton of damage yet, but that's not where the cheese is. The cheese is when he gets to 30 energy damage, and he is just going to start melting himself. So I was just kind of slow playing this fight a little bit, doing those blocked hits, those parries, doing a few attacks here and there, avoiding pushing him to 1 bar of power until I could power drain him. And that's the key, is just to kind of dance around his special 1, getting those infections up, and then only pushing him over a bar of power if you had your special 1 and could drain him below it. And so again, as you can see there, he was just barely at 1 bar of power, threw off our special 1 and did some power draining. It removed just over or about half a bar of power. But again, because we're always ahead of him on the energy game, we didn't have, or the power game, we didn't have to worry about getting to 2 infections. And I think here we might go for 2 infections. And now you can see we can push him well over a bar of power if we want to, throw off that special 1, and he's going to lose a lot of power. And that's how you can help to stay ahead of him on the energy game. If you need to get ahead of him again, then you can just parry a few more times to get him to 2 infections, and that will definitely help by stealing more power. Now you can see he's over 30 energy charges, and he is just ticking away. Look at that. Right now it's at 28,000 per tick. That's every half second we're doing that much damage, and his power bar is just disappearing. But you're not going to stop there. You're going to keep going. You're going to keep building up your infections and throwing off your special 1s, and you're going to keep adding those energy charges. And that's going to keep increasing the amount of damage that he's taking. Now, he just threw a bunch of heavy attacks back to back, but that's okay. Now we're throwing off our special 1. Boom, boom, boom. Now we're at 35, and he's ticking for 72,000 damage per tick. He is melting away. We're almost at the damage cap. So, there really isn't a whole lot of need to keep hitting him at all, really. Now another special 1. Boom. We're at the damage cap. We don't need to do anything else. He is just melting himself away. All you have to do is make sure you don't die or lose your hit count before it runs out. But it happened so fast. It just happened so fast. So it's a little bit of a buildup, but once you get there, the fight just ends itself. It was so much fun just kind of playing around it, dancing around it, and then watching him melt. So I hope that this video helps you get by Bishop if you do take Warlock in. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.